Please just bear in mind.
What's up, guys? Quadron here, bringing you a Ember Spirit gameplay video, and I did bring you guys an Ember Spirit gameplay video about 2 weeks ago, and it just wasn't that good of video quality, and I just got a better microphone as well. I got a Yeti mic, so I'm excited. I'm gonna bring you guys another Quadron plays, and I'll try to explain as I go along. I'm mainly going to be talking about hero positioning, my decision making, and where I can do better. I'm looking to improve as I do these videos. I'm also looking to explain how what I can do better, and I'm trying to figure out what I can do better myself, that kind of thing. So so far doing pretty well, and I'm getting up here. I'm going to try to body block him to make sure he can't get away. Get the right clicks in, and Sand King gets the first blood there. So right off the bat, a really great start for the lane. And I'm going to go ahead and use the salve right away. And I should have obviously backed up because I knew he'd be back right away. So there's a little mistake right there. I'm lost out on about 200 HP regen that I could have had. And so Ember Spirit against a ranged hero, it can be a little bit tricky because basically you can only force the ranged hero back whenever you have your Flame Guard up. So you kind of have to get your last hits in bursts. So I've got my Flame Guard up right now, so I'm going to try to get in there. And just trying to do harass with my stuff. And he thinks that he can kill me, but his raises don't go through. It would take all 3 raises to be able to go through my energy shield, so I'm able to get the pick up on the kill. And so getting that 2nd level in Flame Guard really is huge. Like if he had a 2nd level in raised, I probably would have died there because it would have instantly killed my Flame Guard on the 2nd raise. And then obviously I would also not be doing as much damage. So having that 2nd level basically saved me and killed him at the same time. So this is really important about winning your lane. Basically, you have to understand when you have the advantage and when you do not have the advantage. So I go ahead and pick up a magic stick and a bottle, and the main reason I'm picking up the magic stick is because oftentimes Shadow Fiends will be doing a lot of raises to farm, especially if they're behind. So I just got to charge right there, and that'll help me a lot just when sustaining in this lane. So typically what I go for is a bottle first on Ember Spirit, and then I get an energy booster that I'll build into mana boots. Now, a lot of people will be like, why would you build an energy booster straight out of after bottle? And the simple fact is, Ember Spirit's mana pool is just so abysmal. It's only 350, so that means I get to cast all of my stuff once, and then I'm done. And so basically, once I hit level 6, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get another kill on this guy. Very nice. And so this guy thinks he has a DD rune, so he's going to be fine, and I'm just going to play passive. But I understand that he cannot kill me in the time that I have with my Flame Guard. And the Flame Guard just does so much extra damage. So, and that's also one of the bad things about Shadow Fiend. There's no escape for Shadow Fiend, so just punishing that over and over again. And this is a one-on-one situation. So I've killed him 3 times, basically. Well, one time was Sand King, and that was a huge part of why I was able to do so well. Because I did get a gank from Sand King, and that really helped out. So right now I'm looking just to stay in lane until I get my energy booster. Now right now I could be bottle crowing potentially, but at the same time I think what I'm gonna do is just try to push the lane here at the 4-minute mark. If I don't get the rune at the 4-minute mark, then I'm gonna bottle crow. So like right now I'm pushing the lane with Flame Guard, and I'm forcing him back from the lane as well. So this is gonna prevent him from getting last hits. At the threat of dying, potentially. And now I'm going to check, and the rune is top, so I'm going to go try to get the rune now. Whenever you pick up your energy booster, you always want to try to have a full mana pool, because here, we gotta have to pause for a second. Now I'm keeping my positioning away from Axe, because I don't want to get caught out. So right there, I managed to get level 6. And I barely had enough mana for 1 spell, and so I casted all 3 ulti spirits at the same time, and managed to do enough burst damage to Axe. Basically, your ultimate is your biggest burst. That's a 300 damage instant nuke to wherever you want to go. or to wherever you go, and it's an AOE nuke. So if you have a nice, all of the enemies are grouped up, you can drop all 3 ulti spirits in and do a nice burst of AOE. Now it's obviously really dangerous to do this because your ulti spirits basically are the kind of biggest burst, but also the best escape mechanism for Ember Spirit. And so if you have, if you drop all 3 in, and then you go Sleight of Fist right after that, you're just gonna be stuck there. So unless you know you're about to kill all of them and they're all gonna be running for their life, you can't drop all 3 unless you're willing to die. And so I think this is probably the biggest area where I make mistakes playing Ember Spirit, thinking that I can get kills or not get kills. So right here, and I remember this. This is frustrating. But he manages to bottle up through my mistake, and I do. The other issue there is that I didn't get close enough to be able to track him as he went through the trees. So as he got through the trees, I lost sight, and that's a pretty big deal actually. So whenever you use your bottle charges, you always want to drop your mana boots because it will almost double the amount of mana you get. Not double, but it's probably at least 35% more. But the Slark got caught out because he was trying to catch me, and we actually had an observer ward up there. So that's pretty nice. So you can see that off of that one charge, or that one rune charge, I got 500 mana from that. And normally you only get, I think, 70 mana. Yeah, 70 mana. So normally you only get 210 mana. So I got basically more than double almost. Basically. And it was pretty freaking awesome. So this axe was creep cutting, and so my teammate asked me to come up and help him kill him. And so there, you'll also notice that I did a Sleight of Fist into Searing Chains, ranged, disabled, which I think is really important against someone like Axe, because if you go into the close quarters with Axe, he can call you, and then you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to escape. And if he gets a couple lucky spins, you're going to get down underneath that kill threshold, and he's just going to be able to cull you. So it's really important to maintain distance against an axe, especially later on in the game. Early game, he may not have levels in it, or if he does have levels in it, it's probably only 1 level. So far, my team is doing really well. And this is... I'm showing you this game because I think it's a good example of kind of what you can do with Ember, kind of in the mid game. And I don't think we don't entirely throw this, but we don't exactly play it great here. Now, this is really dangerous of me because there are a lot of friendly creeps attacking Axe there, and that's what's going to proc his, whatever it's called, his Whirling Death, or what the fuck is it? Counter Helix, wow, I can't think. So, basically, the Counter Helix gets procced whenever anyone's attacking him. Even if they don't even follow through with the attack, it's just the attack animation starts, it could potentially trigger it. And so, you have to be really, really careful whenever you're near an axe and he can call you with multiple creeps attacking him, and it'll potentially just kill you straight up. So I want to go aggressive. And now, having Sleight of Fist at a high enough level would be really useful there, but it didn't matter, I didn't need it. The Weaver was enough to help me. So I dropped my mana bits there before I wanded, because it'll give me like an extra, again, almost double the mana. And as you go further on the game, it's going to give you less overall percentage of your mana because your whole mana pool will increase. But in the early game, when you only have 350 mana pool and you get a 250 mana pool increase, it almost, like I said, almost doubles the amount of mana you get in return for using bottle charges, wand sticks, anything like that. So right now I'm looking to just farm up my Shadow Blade, so I'm trying to play carefully. And we don't want to throw away any advantage that we have. So what I'm doing here is just dropping an ulti spirit down and teleporting back to base. This will allow me to heal up, get my bottle back to full. And even after you get back, you can potentially use a bottle charge. So I tried to use a Sleight of Fist into a Searing Chains there, but it actually, the Searing Chains procced when it was on the creep rather than on the hero. So didn't go through. So again, I'm using the bottle charge with the mana boots down. So Mirana goes ahead and ults for us. And I waited to use my Sleight of Fist until there was only 2 creeps. And the reason I did that was because, or there was only 1 creep and a hero. So I didn't want to die, I didn't have any more Flame Guard up, so I went ahead and used an ulti spirit to get away. And I think I'm going to need to just head back home and re-heal up, at least that's what I think I should do. Because at only 450 HP, it's a pretty big deal. Now, I am just trying to, play aggressive for a second there. And looks like the Shrek was trying to get away from Mirana, and he went the wrong way. And I managed to get a kill there without being punished for it. And I think
Dire's top tower has fallen.
One of the keys to being, I would say, like a more advanced player is definitely knowing when you can jump in and when you can't jump in. Because, for example, if I didn't have Flame Guard up right there, I shouldn't have jumped in because Shadow Fiend could have just raised me and basically instantly killed me. But since I had Flame Guard up, when he like went for the raise, it didn't do any damage to me because I had the shield. Pretty obvious things. So Slark managed to pick up a kill on the Weaver, and I think the Slark is the biggest issue this game. And Slark honestly really counters Ember Spirit pretty hardcore. In that Sleight of Fist does not work when Slark uses his ultimate, because Ember needs vision to be able to use his Sleight of Fist. So as the late game goes on, I don't do damage to him with my Sleight of Fist whenever he goes into ulti form, which is a pretty big deal. Nice combo from my team, picking up the Shadow Fiend with the arrow combo. And managed to get a Sleight of Fist kill on the Shrek there. Bingo. And I need 1 more level, and I'll have my Sleight of Fist maxed, as well as my Flame Guard. So as far as my skill build goes, I go over this in my Noob's Guide to Ember Spirit, but I'll go over it. I get 1 level in Searing Chain, 1 level in Sleight of Fist, but my first level is in Flame Guard. So, alright, so first Flame Guard, level in Searing Chain, second level in Flame Guard, level in Sleight of Fist. Flame Guard for my third level in Flame Guard, and then I get my Fire Remnant level 6. Then I get my 4th level in Flame Guard, and then max my Sleight of Fist. So we're going aggressive here on the axe, and I'm going to try to land a Searing Chain's ranged combo again. Turns out perfect. And Mirana went way too close to him with low HP, so it's kind of silly. Now, one thing that's nice about Slark is that he cannot. I'm right here. I'm body blocking Slark so that if he tries to pounce the Shadow Demon, he's not going to be able to. He's going to hit me instead. You have to understand, like, that's the kind of thing that Shadow Demon's capable of. And I don't have enough mana, which really sucked. So instead, I'm going to just go for the CM. I should have Searing Chained there. For sure, I should have Searing Chained, and then he would have been forced to stand next to me. And I wouldn't have had to go into enemy territory to get that kill. And so that was a little bit risky. I do have my Claymore, you'll see, and I did get Godlike, and I do have the hat. Can't believe I haven't mentioned this. I'm very proud of my hat. So my hat currently has 260 kills with 15 victories and 2 Godlike sprees on it. And I just got this hat like last week or a week and a half ago or something like that. I don't know. It was not too long ago. But so it's just basically the last week or so worth of games from Ember that are on the hat. But I'm looking forward to getting more stuff on there. I love tracking gems and stuff on items. But managed to pick the hat up off the marketplace from the gold I got, or the Steam cash I got from selling a unusual courier, which is really nice. So I've got a Shadow Blade now completed, and I've talked about the Shadow Blade in my Noob's Guide, that basically if you activate Shadow Blade and instantly go into Sleight of Fist during the fade time, you will get 150 bonus damage on all of the targets you attack with the Shadow Blade. So for example, normally I do 120 bonus damage with Sleight of Fist plus my regular damage. So that's 220 damage or so. But if I add Shadow Blade into that, it does 370 damage to all targets with Shadow Blade. So I haven't used it. I managed to get both kills before they They go on me though. And right here, I didn't realize how low Slark was. Otherwise, I think I would have for sure used it. And so right there, I just used the Shadow Blade.
Middle tower is under attack.
And this was a mistake. No, one more click. Oh my god. Okay, so
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So I think right there, the biggest thing that I could have done is jump aggressively towards them sooner. I didn't realize how low health Slark was. If I had jumped right towards him, I might have even killed him with just my ulti spirit damage. And then as soon as he came out of his ultimate form, I could have sleight of fisted and instantly killed him because he only had like 150 HP. I think I could have used my Shadow Blade sooner, and when I did use it, it's important to not only use it on the initial Shadow Blade strike, and you'll know you successfully used it because you'll come out of the sleight of fist invised. But basically, if I had used the Shadow Blade properly, I would have also Shadow Blade initially for the extra bonus damage, and then when you get a right click that has bonus damage, and instead of doing that, I popped my steering chains, so it canceled my bonus damage. So I didn't even need to use my Shadow Blade there to get the bonus damage in. But basically what you want to do is you want to get your 150 bonus damage from Shadow Blade twice, and you do that by attacking with the Shadow Blade with Sleight of Fist, and then you stay invised and use your Ember Flame to burn somebody, and then you come out of the attack with the Shadow Blade up again, breaking the invis that you got coming out of Sleight of Fist. So you don't want to go aggressive unless you have Ember Flame or Flame Guard available, just because it's really dangerous. So right there you see I went in with the Shadow Blade, and I'm chasing. They obviously have vision there, so really dangerous for me to go in there. And Crystal Maiden just stayed in there when he probably should have just backed up. And he probably thought I wouldn't go in, given how low HP I was, but I was like, screw that, I'm going in anyway. Plus, it's a great range on Sleight of Fist, so you can kind of snag those ranged kills really well. But you can see they do have sentry wards down, and so basically it really negates my Shadow Blade continued damage. So I mean, ideally what you do is you Shadow Blade attack with Flame Guard on, and then you follow them around and do burn damage.
Yo, green dudes, something bad is happening.
And I don't have very much mana here, so it's a little bit dangerous for me to be in here. And see, I don't realize that Slark is right there. He had Shadow Bladed up, so it's a pretty big deal. And then I didn't have enough mana for an Ulti Spirit jump, which was a huge bummer, really, because I could have easily gotten away there if I had more mana. So I'm building into a Desolator next, and it could be argued that you should go probably like even drums before a Shadow Blade, but I view the Shadow Blade kind of as a semi-survival item because you will oftentimes be able to get away with the Shadow Blade, and also it's kind of this is a very glass cannon oriented Ember Spirit build, and I think you can get away with it on Ember Spirit as long as you try to always make sure you have mana and always have an Ulti Spirit to get away, because the only way they're going to lock you down is if they have a really hard stun or a continued stun. I don't know, like Duel from Legion Commander or Batrider Lasso, something like that. And in that case, you might even consider picking up a Lincoln Sphere when they have a really strong single target disable like that. But I'm not a big fan of BKB simply because Ember Spirit has really low armor. And any kind of man fighting that he does will almost always result in him just dying, because he's not a man fighter. He's a kiter, and he does damage over time using his abilities, basically. So I'm trying to make sure I don't die. I can't remember how this goes, so I went ahead and popped my... oh my god. Get it. Oh, oh my god. Okay, so that was really close. I thought for sure I was going to go down there, but I had just enough HP to the kill threshold for the axe cull, but that was really close. And the tricky part there was he kept going in and out of fog, so I was trying to Searing Chains, but you don't land Searing Chains if they go out of vision for just a second, so really didn't want to waste that. I've got enough gold now to pick up a Mithril Hammer, and I need 2 of those plus the recipe to pick up my Desolator. So I try to keep an eye on my reliable gold. I've got 175 unreliable gold, which is really not that much. So I probably could have gotten away with just getting the recipe, but basically you always want to try to have, in my opinion, as much reliable gold as possible in case you need to do a buyback. And with Ember Spirit, buybacks can be especially potent if you have your ulti spirit up and you die. You can instantly buy back and get back to the fight by just jumping to your ulti spirit, which can be really powerful too. It's like better than Boots of Travel because it's like almost instantaneous. And he drops a Battle Hunger on me, and it doesn't matter. So again, I have to be really careful about being called because it's all the creeps there, but the Sand King jump in just didn't let him get off anything there. So this has been a lot of kills, a lot of really fun fighting. This is how I much prefer to play Ember, in a very much ganking, constantly killing, roaming role rather than a farming role, because as good as he is with damage, like
something bad is happening
in the late game, all it takes is like a millisecond of him getting caught out from like Shadow Fiend. Like if Shadow Fiend and I have equal farm and we're both at 6 slotted, all it's going to take is like Shadow Fiend catching me out for like 3 seconds or 2 seconds. And I'm going to die because I'm going to die from like 4 of his right clicks because he hits like a truck. And my right click is going to be okay at that point, but it's going to have a slow attack speed because it focuses around all of the high single target damage, or a Battle Fury build basically, which is similar to high single target damage, but it basically focuses on Sleight of Fist. So every 6 seconds I do a big burst of damage, and basically for someone like a Shadow Fiend, he's just going to annihilate me in between those bursts, unless you just kite him constantly, in which case like a Shadow Fiend with like a Satanic, for example, is just going to outcarry you, or a Slark with a heart, that kind of thing. They're just going to be able to regen enough HP and just be tanky enough that it's going to be really hard to kill them in the late game. But in the early game, I feel like that's when Ember Spirit is the strongest. In the early, like level 6 through 16, is going to be really powerful. And obviously, if you get lots and lots of farm, it can be a really great late game, like a really great late game damage dealer. But not, I wouldn't say carry, because I think a carry is a hero that can stand up to the enemy team, the entire enemy team basically, and say, I'm going to kill all of you right now, with the support of my supports and some stuns, obviously. But that's the kind of carry that that I view as a valid full-on carry. So Leshrac thought he could go ahead and deward, and I went, no thanks. And this Leshrac, man, he started talking some serious smack later on. The Slark thought he wanted to go on me and then decided better of it. So I'm like, screw that, I'm going to go on you, Slark. So I managed to get my Sleight of Fist off with my Shadow Blade, as well as my... yeah, okay, so I'm going to talk about that for a second. So I got my Shadow Blade off with my Sleight of Fist and Searing Chain, so you can do both of your first 2 abilities. I don't think I've mentioned that before, but you can do both of your first 2 abilities while doing a Sleight of Fist with your Shadow Blade. And then it locked him in place, which I'm sure if he purged or not. I don't think he did, but that does 300 damage plus the damage I do, so about 600 damage roughly if I land all 3 of my Shadow Blade, Sleight of Fist, and Searing Chains. And then I followed it up by walking after him with my Flame Guard up, and my Flame Guard disabled about halfway through, which was too bad. He pounced away, and then I threw an Ulti Spirit. I didn't have much mana, but I threw an Ulti Spirit down because I knew he was really low and it was enough to pick him off. Now if he was a little bit higher HP there in that situation, what I would have done is just
Green Dude's top thing
throw out more than one Ulti Spirit, basically, and to do the extra damage that I need. And right there, I should have definitely used. What am I talking about? Damn it! I'm so brain dead at the moment. I don't know. Whatever. I'm moving on. I'm sorry. I'm really tired from talking for like over a half hour now, or 25 minutes. I need to get better at this. I'm still working at this, so work with me, guys. All right, so the tower is pretty low. I need to be careful. I don't have an Ulti Spirit up, but I have with the tower. And obviously the Desolator now makes me do tremendously more damage. And the Desolator's bonus damage does work on the Shadow Blade bonus damage, so that 150 bonus damage is huge, because now I do 270 with the Desolator bonus. And he goes on me, and I don't think they have detection. So I'm contemplating going on this. I don't think I should, but oh, maybe I could. So if I were to isolate him, okay. So right there, you saw while I was sleight of fisting, I managed to get my ulti spirits off, and then jump to them I ended up actually jumping to them too soon, and I came back to my sleight of fist starting point, but I still managed to do the damage and get to pick up the Slark kill with my ulti spirit jumps. I really want to make sure I killed him. I don't know why. I was really frustrated with Slark because he got away like 3 or 4 times this game when I thought I should have killed him. So right now I am low enough that I know I'm going to head back to the fountain anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and burn through all my spells before I head back and just pick up a few jungle camps.
Green dude's top
so
thing is
one
about
of the
to get knocked over.
In these kind of camps, it's actually really good to use Searing Chains because the Searing Chains does a good amount of damage to the creeps, and obviously it's a really good ability to use your Sleight of Fist as well as your Flame Guard. They all three are really good jungling abilities, and you don't really want to use your ulti spirits when you're jungling just because it's not worth it. So I think I decided to just walk back at this point, because it's a little bit easier, and I'm just going to TP back out. I didn't want to waste a TP, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. So I think I go ahead and pick up a Crystallis right now, I think. At least that's what I usually go. I go Shadowblade, Desolator, Crystallis. And I guess we'll find out. Yep. I get a Crystallis, I get a second TP. It's always important to have a second TP if you're going to be TPing out to begin with. Because you always want to have a TP to go back to base and heal up. I think people, like, a lot of heroes you need that anyway, but like on Ember Spirit I think it's like desperately needed because it's such a huge deal. So my teammates are going in without me. I think this is a big mistake. And this Weaver, if he doesn't pick up this axe, okay, he does. Just barely. Oh my goodness, I remember this fight. So I did get my shot. Oh my god, there's so much damage. Alright, so I got my Sleight of Fist off with my Shadow Blade, and you see how quickly all of them melted. So it was a 4-man Shadow Blade with my Flame Guard on, burning them down the whole time. And it had minus armor, and I probably critted at least one of them. And so they were all at full HP, and they all basically went down. That was almost like me soloing the entire enemy team. Obviously, there was a Sand King ultimate in there, mixed in. And this guy wants to go. And he manages to pick up. And again, so he just ulties, and he can run away with the impunity. Oh my goodness. I waited too long to jump in there, and I didn't have enough mana. If I had enough mana, I could have potentially carried that on. I can't remember if I die here or not. Yeah, I think I die here. No! I'm like, just buy my crap. I think did I get my crap purchased? I don't think I did. I think I lost 500 gold there. That's really frustrating. So that was a situation where I'm like, I know I'm going to die. Let me purchase my stuff as quickly as possible. And I didn't. I actually missed it by like a millisecond. But I'm going to finish up my Daedalus next. Again, this is a very glass cannon oriented build. Also, around this point in time, you could consider getting rid of your arcanes and going for Boots of Travel. Or just going straight for like phase potentially. But I think Boots of Travel are a better investment at this point in the game. And the reason you can kind of get rid of your your arcanes is that you now have a large enough mana pool that obviously it's still good to have mana, but when you have this large of a mana pool, like over 1,000, you can just TP back to base and ulti spirit back forward to get your mana pool up to max again. And you'll probably be doing that anyway, even if you do have arcanes. So I think this Slark has a gem. No, he doesn't have a gem. He has dust. And I think that Weaver went. I think that Weaver time lapsed a little bit too soon. And I don't know what this Weaver's doing. They can obviously see him. They have they dusted him, I guess. So my team is throwing pretty hardcore right now. They just fed Slark an insane amount of gold, and Slark has Shadowblade treads, a bunch of money, and then did he just purchase? I think he just purchased something. Something's coming on the courier right now. So he's got a Basher coming on the courier right now. So the Slark is now not on equal terms of farm, but pretty damn close. being pretty aggressive with this Shadow Fiend right here.
Flames clear the way.
Now I'm trying to get this. I'm telling the Shadow Demon, last hit this, deny this creep so you don't die from the battle hunger. And he successfully denied it, so good for him. So right now I do not have a TP scroll, and this is one of the times where I'm like, I really wish I had a freaking TP scroll, but I think I was just in a rush to get out and help my team
Dire's bottom
get some
tower
kills,
is under attack.
some return kills.
Guys, you need
so
to
now I have to actually walk
here.
back to base. Now I could throw an ulti spirit out. Okay, there, I just throw it out an ulti spirit. So that way I can at least get back out of the base for free without having to pay for a TP scroll. So this Slark, I see that he's getting more farm, and he's basically, at this point, it's really hard for us to kill a Slark without basically committing our entire team. Because I can't really solo him anymore. He can almost always get away. He's got really high move speed when he's Shadow Bladed or when he's using his ultimate, and he can always purge the dust that I have. So basically, for us to kill him, we've got to have kind of a Shadow Fiend, or a we've got to have a Sand King stun, followed up by a Marana arrow probably, for us to really lock him down and kill him for sure. So it becomes like really dangerous. This is where it's like, how am I going to actually kill this guy? He's always going to be able to get away from me. And it gets to the point of frustration. Like if he were to like come back at me, and I would probably be able to kill him, but it would be kind of one of those like maybe nots at this point in the game, because let's see, I'm level 20, but what level is he? He's level 17 now, and more importantly, he does have a good amount of gold. Let's go ahead and check out the gold lead, actually. So we've got a 7,500 gold lead right now, and that's mostly because I think we've had better farming on the map and obviously a lot more kills. But that's honestly not much of a lead. Like, seriously, that is not that much of a lead. So we kind of were throwing for a little bit there, and then we're getting it back now. When we killed that, picked up that kill on the Shadow Fiend, we got a lot of map control back again. So right now, basically picking up the Daedalus is probably the Desolator is probably the biggest increase in overall damage that you can do. And so that Weaver and the Weaver and I both got called by Axe, and this is like I think this is the turning point of the game right here, because Axe got his Blink Dagger. And once Axe gets a Blink Dagger, basically he can disable me for 3 seconds, like permanently, or guaranteed. Like there's almost no way I can stop it. So, and he's got Blade Mail, so basically I'm gonna kill myself against him during that time. And yeah, it's 3 seconds on the call.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So blink Blade Mail, and I am in massive trouble. And I don't even realize how big of a deal this is, because I think I didn't quite realize. I mean, I don't know. Like in my brain, I didn't recognize how dangerous this was, and it's not until I think I died to it twice that I realize how potentially dangerous this is. And this Shrek talks a lot of crap, even though he's terrible. This Shrek is 2 and 11 and has done almost nothing but feed, and he's talking smack. So I don't know. It's kind of retarded. So I think if I mute him, does it actually mute in the demo replay? I don't even know. But I'm gonna try to mute him because it's pointless. I don't want to get distracted by chat at all, so I'm just gonna mute everybody. I don't want to mute these guys because these guys are some buddies that I play with actually. So this is kind of a stack, and there are really some really fun guys, and I'll probably record some games honestly of me just playing with them, because
under attack.
there's a lot of cussing and swearing, but a lot of really fun talking and banter going back and forth. So we're waiting to try to pick up Roshan. They're looking to defend Roshan. We decided to Marana ulti, and I think this is where we basically throw. They have a sentry ward there. Axe, I thought Axe called right there, but he waited to call until he called me, and basically it destroyed me. Getting called by Axe, like murdered me, and this Weaver committed to killing Axe, which is not a good idea. And this is Shrek talking more smack. I just want to wring this Shrek's little neck. No, but like he's just trying to make other players feel inadequate because he's making terrible mistakes and his team is actually playing well. I'd say this Axe and Slark are basically carrying the team. I'm gonna go ahead and go to last hits. Shadow Fiend is leading the last hits. I'm not actually leading the last hits, but let's see. Let's go to net worth. I'm sure that I was leading net worth probably before that fight, and now I'm not anymore. And you can see the Slark and the Shadow Fiend both have higher net worth than me, which is a huge deal. So basically, we've thrown the game at this point. I wouldn't say we're out of it. We're not out of it by any means, but they have better late game carries. Shadow Fiend and a Slark are going to out carry a Weaver and a Marana Ember almost any day of the week. So especially with an Axe that can blink in and disable us for 3 seconds, especially someone like Marana and Weaver and Ember, because all three of us rely on our mobility skills, my ultimate, Weaver Sakuchi, and Marana Leap, to get away from fights and disengage when we need to. And if our Axe calls us when we really don't want to be called, it's a really freaking big deal. So Slark manages to purge the arrow stun, which is really unfortunate. Managed to pick up the Shrek there with just a sleight of fist. And I think I did Shadow Blade there. Let me go back to my perspective here, sorry. And so, where am I? Oh, I was disrupted, okay. So this time I'm trying to be a lot more careful to make sure I do not get caught out by Axe. We do pick up the whatever it's called, and the Shadow Fiend and the Leshrac and the Aegis. And I am really low HP now. So I'm just going to ulti Spirit away and pop my Flame Guard and run away. Just because if he did pounce me, I wouldn't die because I had Flame Guard on. And also the Shadow Blade obviously helps me move faster because we increase move speed. And makes it a lot harder for them to hit me if they don't have detection. And I don't know if they have detection at this point. So Slark now has an Abyssal Blade done. Leshrac had sentries. CM has detection. But yeah, basically they had detection back in the river, but that was it. So I still have yet to finish my Daedalus, and it's been about 6 or 7 minutes. And the reason for that is that I've barely gotten any kills. Or if I have gotten kills, I've died right after and basically lost all the gold that I earned from getting a kill. And so you can clear out a creep wave really quickly with the Shadow Blade bonus damage, as you saw right there. So now I've almost got enough. I'm going to go farm top, try to finish up my Daedalus. And Daedalus is one of those items that I think is worth getting, even if you're not going to have buyback on Ember Spirit, because it's basically, you go from doing potentially like a 500 or 600 damage crit with the Chrysalis up to doing maybe like a 1,000 damage crit, which is insanely more damage. So definitely worth the it's definitely worth buying right away as soon as you get the money for it, because you'll start one-shotting supports with the Desolator and Daedalus done with Shadow Blade. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Shadow Blade does not stack with the Daedalus crit because they changed the Shadow Blade works, but it does stack with minus armor and with cleave. So getting a Battle Fury potentially might be a better option than the Daedalus, depending on what heroes you're facing. I think if you're facing a Manta style hero or a PL hero, or like a Naga or a Nature's Prophet, like if they're going with a Zoo strat where they're just going to push you with Necros and stuff like that, getting a Battle Fury, multiple Battle Furies up can be really amazing, because you're going to be able to kill the Necros during your Sleight of Fist, and you're not going to take any of the damage from the Necros because you're going to be Sleight of Fist. You're invulnerable while you're Sleight of Fisting, and so it can be a really good ability, or a really good build, counter build to the Necro build. So yes, and yeah, so basically at this point I have very little armor. I'm at 8 armor, so if they have an AC and a Desolator, or even just a Shadow Fiend aura plus a Desolator, I'm going to be at minus armor, so I'm just going to melt to any right clicks. So that's something that I've got to keep in mind, in the forefront of my mind, that I have to absolutely kite the enemy. I cannot do any man fighting at all at this point, and I think that's something that's different, because most heroes At this point, if they had a Desolator, a Daedalus, and a Shadow Blade, it would be all about the man fighting. It would be all about getting in their face and right-clicking them to death. But that's not the case at all. So really, really unfortunate searing chains there. But this axe was just totally caught out. So it didn't even matter that I missed my searing chains. And one thing that I don't like about 5-manning is that I'm going to basically skip out on all of the
middle tower.
Farm.
Go,
like
now.
basically my teammates are going to be nuking everything, and I'm not going to be able to get much of the farm. And Ember, it's just one, like right there, I'm losing out on farm. So that's why I like split pushing with Ember a lot. And one of the best ways to do that is just to throw out an ulti spirit and walk up. Now it's kind of risky in this game to do that because they have an axe, and the axe can always blink up and go for you. So I did actually have an ulti spirit still way up in the trees up there, but just in case, I threw out an ulti spirit further up the lane. So if they weren't going to react, TP react, I would have kept pushing that. And you can see that the damage I do to creeps is pretty insane now. I love playing Ember just because of the he's all about the kiting, and I think he's just a really high potential level of skill because of if you can use your sleight of fist properly with the Shadow Blade and you kite them properly, you go glass cannon, and if you get caught out, you're dead. But if you don't get caught out, you can continue to do awesome damage to the enemy. Now, obviously, the more physical armor that the enemy gets, the less damage you're going to get. So one of the best ways to counter an Ember Spirit is going to be getting that AC and Vlad's up, and that's just going to give everybody that bonus armor and make it really, really hard for you to deal out the armor that you want to deal. And a mech is obviously really good too, because that's going to give everyone a little bit of bonus armor as well. Mech bonus, mech, Aquila, Bassi Ring, all of those are going to give bonus armor. So really, really good item pickups versus an Ember. And do they have any kind of aura? Yeah, they have a mechanism. It looks like they're also going for... Are they going for a pipe? No, it looks like she's going for a blade mail? I don't know what this Crystal Maiden's going for. It looks like a blade mail to me. But Shadow Fiend, he's got a Manta BKB, Helm of the Dominator, and he's going to be going Satanic, which I think is a really... It's a good build on a Shadow Fiend because it makes you insanely tanky, as well as allows you to get that extra armor. And then obviously gives you a little extra bonus damage, but more importantly, it allows you to regen up your HP, and you obviously increases your HP like by 500. So really, really good pickup against an Ember Spirit in particular, because Ember Spirit is a hero of attrition. He'll kite you, do damage over time, and so I'm just going to go ahead and just... We're going to try to finish off this Crystal Maiden, and the Crystal Maiden goes down. And I'm kiting until the next. I'm kiting until the next Sleight of Fist is up. And Slark is trying to single me out, knowing that I'm probably the biggest damage dealer on the team right now. I Shadow Blade up, and oh, he gets a freaking. I remember that. That was really frustrating. Axe gets a Helix by accident on me. He didn't even call or anything, but he manages to get a kill. So. Really unfortunate there, and the Shadow Fiend, oh my goodness, he made it out. That's really unfortunate. So I might have been able to use a Sleight of Fist, throw out an Ultimate Spirit, and get away there, but I did not have the foresight to do it, fortunately. But it was really unfortunate because that was Shadow Fiend was really, really low. Yeah, that would have been an amazing pickup. So we just threw away any advantage that we had, and I think any potential to really win this game at this point is like really, really far off in the distance. Their carries have tremendously more farm than us. The Weaver has almost nothing this game. The Morana has very little. And I mean, my farm is decent, but at this point in the game, 44 minutes in, my farm I would say is not as great as it needs to be. Like for me to potentially carry this game at this point, I would have to probably have like probably a Divine Rapier or like 2 Battle Furies and Boots of Travel, and then get really, really lucky with the Cleaves and then having them group up or something like that. So yes, at this point, I mean, they know that the game is basically over. I think they take a really long time to finish it though, so I might skip ahead a little bit As long as there's fighting going on, I'll won't skip ahead. So we've got to be really careful about the blade mail coming out from Axe, because blade mail is spear damage, so it goes straight through your flame guard. And I can, there we go, manage to pick up the Axe. And again, Ember Spirit is all about the war of attrition. You doing damage over time to all of the enemy. And I do not have... Oh, get him. Okay, good. So my Searing Chains managed to pick him up, which is really important. And my dogs are barking, so I apologize if there's a little bit of noise in the background, but I'm gonna keep going. So I'm kind of just threatening the Slark, saying, "Hey, don't come for us," because I'm still here. Leave my Weaver alone. But basically, I mean, I think this game is over. We're gonna lose any man-up fight that we're going to take, basically, because they have BKBs, which negates the Sand King and the Shadow Demon's damage output, as well as obviously a lot of my damage is still magical with 300 damage nuke from the Searing Chains. My Flame Guard, the majority of damage that I do now is not magical, it's physical with Sleight of Fist. That's the great thing about Ember Spirit. He transitions from a magic dealing hero into a heavy right click or Sleight of Fist physical damage hero. But at this point, I'm just going to go for a second Daedalus, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit because I know this game is basically over. Oh yeah! Okay, I'm totally going to go back. Okay, I remember this. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to skip ahead. I'm going to slow down when we get to where we were again. Okay, so we think that they're probably doing Roshan. So I'm going to throw an Ulti Spirit in. And I see that Roshan's almost dead. To go in, right click it, I get the Roshan kill. And I don't have, I didn't have a spot in my inventory. But I think the Weaver picked up the Aegis, so they just threw pretty hard there. So it was pretty awesome. And we killed the little Shrek, which felt amazing, right? So, because the little Shrek is being a little asswipe. So, I'm going to skip ahead here. And please let me know how the mic is turning out in the feedback below. I do want to know if you guys think the mic sounds good, or if the audio needs any changes or anything like that.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
And there we go. So we're just farming away, waiting for them to get all their heroes back. And looks like Slark is going on us in mid. And he's trying to 1-on-5 successfully. No, not very successfully. And I managed to pick up the Slark. And it looks like I've got a Battle Fury in mind to pick up the Battle Fury next. And I think I don't remember. I think I go double Daedalus, which I think is fine too. Double Daedalus ensures that you crit more often, and it just gives you lots of extra damage, more damage than a Battle Fury, at least more single target damage than a Battle Fury would. So, if you're wanting pure single target damage, they don't have many illusions or anything to shoot cleave off of, then going for the second Daedalus is definitely the best way to go. And Nubtastic taking the last hits. But yeah, so my farm, like I said, my farm is not great. You can see on the net worth chart that I have jumped up above the axe. I was behind the axe, but the Slark and the Shadow Fiend are still ahead, and they're able to farm. Basically, they've got map control now because two of our lanes of racks have been pushed out. Sorry, I'm repositioning. But basically, 2 lanes of our racks have been knocked down, so that means that the creeps are always going to be pushing, which means they're going to have free farm in their jungle because we're not going to be able to push out and punish them or potentially gank them nearly as easily. For example, if the creeps start pushing into our base, they're going to know that we're busy, or they're going to know that we're up to something because we're not in our base defending it. So I one-shotted Axe there. Oh, that's insane. That's why I love Ember Spirit right there. One-shotted him when he had like over 1k HP, so almost doing a crit on the level of a Phantom Assassin. Almost, not quite. Phantom Assassin crits are going to be closer to like 1600 or 1800 with this level of farm. But because of the bonus damage that I get from Shadowblade and from Sleight of Fist, I can do some massive level crits as well. Like probably at this point, double Daedalus. I guess we'll see. It should tell us what I'm critting at. So against creeps, I'm critting at 400 something, but against a hero, you'll see it's going to be like 1200 something because I get the 120 bonus damage. So I'm wanting to farm. I'm wanting to continue farming as much as possible because I know that Shadow Fiend and Slark are farming. And so I just throw out an Ulti Spirit, and there's no way for them to really prevent that. They didn't go for any kind of disables from like a Sheepstick or a Orchid. I think an Orchid would have actually been an amazing pickup on Slark this game because he can silence me. And basically the only escape mechanism that I have then is a Shadow Blade, and if he has a gem, I'm screwed. So I think Orchid is one of the best ways to counter Ember. Yeah. So anyway, they just didn't have much. So this is kind of like, I guess, one of the last fights. It's a good arrow. Admittedly, a good arrow. I almost one-shotted the Shrek there, if you notice. But and I really wanted to kill the Shrek there. If you notice, like I got them all down to really, really low HP, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to deal with that. Wasn't enough to deal with that Shadow Fiend, just because as soon as I got my Sleight of Fist on cooldown, and I didn't have any more ulti spirits, I was forced to just run away, and he just right-clicks me like twice, and I'm dead. He like critted me once and right-clicked me again, and I was dead because I had minus armor, like negative armor, and it's just not good. So I'm gonna fast forward this until the next fight, and nobody's up basically, so no one's gonna fight. Okay, so I'm up again, and they are. Looks like they're looking to push. So I've got 2.4k gold in the bank, which means I should have enough for buyback. Yeah, I've got enough for buyback if I need it, but I'm only gonna do that if looks like I have potential to add to the fight still. And again, this little Shrek just talking smack the whole game, and he's like, I'm not gonna say he's terrible. He's been buying a lot of wards. He's had like no farm, and he's fed a lot. So like to me, that's pretty terrible. But he's been talking so much smack, and yeah, sorry. Whatever. Moving on. I'm moving on. So they're gathering up for their final push. Now positioning in this fight is going to be huge. Again, I can't get caught out. I've got to kite them, and I've got to try to get as many Sleight of Fists off as possible without dying. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Yeah, I think the Blade Mail pickup on Crystal Maiden and Shrek was really bad because they're not even going to deal damage to me whenever I do Sleight of Fist. So Shrek goes for the Blade Mail charge in, and I'm going to try to make sure he pays for it. Marana manages to pick him up. So again, I'm kiting. I'm trying to stay as far back as possible, using as many Sleight of Fists as I can. This is our last lane of racks. So I went in for the man fight on Shadow Fiend, and he popped Satanic and just obliterated me, even though he had only like 15% of his life left. It didn't matter because he was able to just annihilate me. And again, annihilated me. So this is a situation where, I don't know, an AC might have been a much better pickup than a Desolator perhaps. Because it'll help me survive these kinds of battles, like tremendous. Like I would have survived. The last 3 deaths I had happened because of all the minus armor, and then me barely being caught out for like 2 or 3 right clicks, and I died. So I'm talking smack now. Shrek, you are the worst player in this game, and you're just trying to make up for it by talking smack. So I'm talking smack to them back. But this kind of shows how to throw a game when you have a big advantage. Like we needed to seal the deal. basically, I think Axe made the plays that won them the game. He managed to call me like in 2 or 3 major team fights that swung the game vastly from our favor to their favor and gave them a giant gold lead. So I could have not gotten caught out, and that would have helped my team tremendously. And then also, basically, we needed to finish the game earlier. And I mean, it comes down to those team fights. I think if we had, won those team fights handedly, if I had not been called, I managed to kill the Shadow Fiend there in those crucial moments. We would have basically turned the fights and went and kicked their ass, I feel like. And went and gotten towers and probably gotten racks shortly after if we had won either of those team fights. But we didn't, and so we lost, and it happens. And that's okay. That's okay. This is a learning experience. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Whoop, I hit the mic. Again, give me feedback on the commentary. Let me know what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I'm not sure what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, peace out. Goodbye. Love you all. Bye-bye.